All right, welcome to another episode of Homestead Shop Talk podcast with Al from Lumnah Acres, Ben from Hollar Homestead, and myself, Jason from Land. And this is episode 23. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about gift ideas, maybe for the homesteader or farmer. I guess homestead gift ideas and kind of maybe different ideas that we think about. And actually, if our wives are watching, maybe they get an idea what to get us. If my mom's listening, which she does.
My mom listens too. That's funny.
Yeah, I know.
I know my dad listens. I don't know about my mom.
Yeah, so, but first we're going to talk about our week. Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Man.
Yep. Ate a little too much, I think, but it was good.
Yep, I second that. I think I had to go up a hole on my belt because of Thanksgiving, so it was a good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was nice. Coming from California, we've always traveled. Went to like 3 different places, both grandmas, moms. So ever since moving to North Carolina, that stopped, and it's like we just stay home during the holidays. And for a while there, it's hard. We weren't used to that. I remember the first year we're like, this is weird. Like we have absolutely nowhere to go. And now it's kind of, I guess it's normal now. But
right. Kind of nice and relaxing.
We actually kind of did the same thing, but it was a few years ago. It was back before we left California. It was like Thanksgiving on Thursday, Thanksgiving on Friday, Thanksgiving on Saturday. And then if we wanted our own, because, you don't get to bring any leftovers home, we would do our Thanksgiving on Sunday, and then I'd go back to work. And it was just like, we can't keep doing this. And so we finally arranged it. It's like, all right, these in-laws get Thanksgiving this year. These ones get it, next year. It was kind of hard when we finally decided that, but we kind of broke our holidays up that way, and it ended up being better for everybody. But yeah, I know what you're saying. Like going down to just having like just Thanksgiving and you don't travel. Man, I used to hate traveling on Thanksgiving. Like first thing in the morning, if you're headed over to family, like there's nobody on the road. And then when you're coming back, everybody's on the road, and it's just like, everybody's comatose from too much turkey. Let's get off the road.
No, I know you're sitting in traffic. Like, forget it.
So we've been working more on the barn this week. We're working on trying to get the roof down, or we got the roof down, I should say. There was a big push because we had a big rainstorm coming in. And then we have the weather is starting to cool off. So it's like, I want to get the roof on before the rain, and I want to get the roof on before we got to get up there. And it's like 30, 25 degrees out. So it's a lot easier to work when you're warm than it is when you're cold. It's been going good. It's nice to have the roof on. We're excited to start seeing the barn come in. We're still trying to figure out the layout. The big thing is I want to get your guys' input. We're wanting to do pigs now. That's one of the big goals about having the barn, is we can have a place to raise the piglets in the early spring and overwinter them in the wintertime. What breeds would you recommend? Or what breed and why? I want to make sure I get like the right breed. We want something that's docile. We don't want something that gets too pushy or too aggressive, especially if we're going to be having a sow and a boar. But we want something that's tasty at the same time. So what would you guys recommend?
You're going to breed them. These are for breeding.
We want to have just one male and a female, and just start off with a small, and then raise them and sell some piglets, but raise most of them for us. And I know like you like your coonies, and they seem friendly.
I'm not sure if I recommend them. That's too soon to say.
It's too soon to say.
Haven't even eaten them yet.
I gotta wait another year.
What are the pros and cons so far versus the other pigs you've raised?
They're really slow. Like they're so tiny still.
Yep.
It's nice. It's nice to have a pig and just raise them for like 7 months and then butcher them. That's kind of nice, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're just really tiny. I mean, the good news is that they don't eat as much.
Right.
And they're really nice. Like they're easy. You're not worried about your life or
right.
or your kids' lives.
Yep.
They're super friendly. I guess they're just really slow growing. That's the main thing. And also they don't eat just whatever. Like they're kind of pampered pigs.
Do you feed them your food scraps?
We feed them our food scraps, but like I don't feed them meat.
Okay.
You know, just whatever really. You know, if it was a feeder pig, you know, I fed guts to feeder pigs, you know.
Right.
Just to get them big. But not the coonies. Not the coonies. They're vegan pigs.
They're vegan pigs. Come on, they must eat plenty of bug out on pasture, I would think.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm sure they get some.
But they don't root.
Yeah, they don't root. So, I know. Yeah, I don't know. They're pampered.
They're pampered. But is that because you pamper them?
Probably, yeah.
Probably. Give them their belly rubs at night.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Berkshire pigs.
That was what I was going to say, is the Berkshires.
I like those guys.
The Berkshires. Would you want to raise a boar and a sow all the time on the Berkshires?
You know, after about 2 years, that's going to be a lot of pig.
Yeah. That's a lot to feed.
If I was, it would be them, probably.
Would it be?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement.
There's a farm. I did a video on them, Colfax Creek Farm. They raise all Berkshire pigs.
Okay.
And they breed them there too. They have a ton of pigs. I think they had like over 150 pigs or something.
Wow.
On pasture. And that's pretty much all they have is the Berkshire.
What about your guinea hogs that you guys did?
So I think the only reason we've stuck with the guinea hogs is just the flavor. Like it's really, really tasty meat. Lard's cool, but you're really set for lard with like one pig.
Right.
So it's just kind of like we're gonna have to raise like 6 or 7 pigs a year if we stick with guinea hogs. And then we messed up this year, and we sold our first litter. We sold the entire litter this spring, and we should have kept like 3 or 4 of them. That way we could, get on a good rotation. And my plan was like, oh yeah, no, we'll just keep the next litter. Well, we had that next litter, and they're yay big. They're maybe 15, 20 pounds now. They grow slow. It's gonna take 2 years before they're full size. Well, if I'd kept the spring batch, they would have been a little bit bigger by next winter, and I could possibly do them at 15 to 18 months, something like that. But I mean, it is what it is. So this coming spring, we're gonna have to find some feeder pigs. You want just a little bit of advice. You might have better luck than we have. Get 2 sows. Get 2 sows and your boar. Because what can happen is if it's just 1 sow and 1 boar, they basically become brother and sister, and there's a good chance that they might not breed. I mean, we had that happen with our Mangalitzes, which Mangalitzes are notoriously hard to breed. So, I mean, there is that, but I've actually read that in several places that if there's not enough, competition, then the sows, they don't get down like that. So, I don't know, I guess just a tip. Now, as far as breed, man, those Hampshire Berkshires we did, I loved them. They had great personalities. They're real friendly. They reminded me of dogs. Like they're just the way they played and the way they were just real friendly. Come up and let me give them belly rubs and stuff like that. I was never worried about them busting out and biting any of the kids. So yeah, something like that. I think it also does come down to just handle them. Just be out there when you feed them. Make sure you scratch them and get them tame. That's just animal husbandry 101 right there. Is get them used to you, get them friendly. That way, when they're 600 pounds, they're not so skittish that if they bust out, you can't get them back in.
So I guess this is what I was thinking. I want to get your guys' thoughts, and it's kind of interesting where you went to and the breed you kept going to. So I'm kind of leaning towards the Idaho pasture pig. So it's a Cooney, an old Berkshire, and Duroc mix. So I just found that very interesting because you guys kept saying Berkshire. So it's got the Berkshire in it. And to me, it's got the Cooney, which for like, I would think more of like the meat marble in it would be kind of more like a guinea hog. And they're more pasture. So they're supposed to get to market weight within 10 months. So I didn't think that was too bad. And market weight is 250 to 350 pounds. And then the boars and the sows are like 350 to 450, and they eat a lot of hay and I think like 3 pounds of grain a day in the wintertime.
That is fabulous. Maybe I need to look into Idaho pasture pigs.
Because I want something that doesn't get too big. Because I mean, you get a 600-pound boar and sow. That's a big animal. That's a lot to feed just to be breeding. And they root a lot. I know the first time we went and got our first pigs, it was some kind of heritage bred mutt. It had like 3 or 4 different breeds in it. I mean, she must have stood 4 or 5 feet tall, and she was probably 6 feet long. And I don't know what the piglets did, but they pissed her off. She just took them in her mouth and like tossed them. They did somersaults in the air, and I'm like, man, that's a big pig. Like, I would not want to mess with that thing.
It's like a cow with short legs.
It was. And that's what the farmer says. Like, yeah, he's like, you don't want to mess with this. And I'm like, nope, I would not want to have that thing loose in my yard running around or something. But,
yeah.
So we've just been trying to figure out what would be a good breed to get into, because we want something that is tasty, like you guys said, like with the guinea hog. They got the good flavoring, like a Magnolitza, and then we want something that doesn't get too big, but we don't want it to take 2 years to grow out either.
Yep.
And that was, I thought, another interesting thing about the Idaho pasture pigs. They have more vitamin E in the meat, and they have high levels of omega-3s. I'm assuming that must be because they eat a lot of grass.
Yeah, that would probably be why.
Those ones root a lot, like a regular pig?
Nope. So they're not supposed to root a lot. They'll root a little, but they eat a lot of grass. And they were saying that if they root a lot, it's because they're not getting the minerals in their diet. So they're trying to find the minerals. So if they start rooting a lot, you need to give them more minerals, and they won't root as much.
Yeah, they sound good. I would try them.
So you guys haven't tried them or known anybody that has tried them?
The only person I know who tried them was Justin Rhodes, and he kind of he wasn't real impressed because he wanted to follow the cows with them, and they rototilled his pasture. But
okay,
like I helped butcher those pigs, and it was absolutely like 10 months. They were huge. It's one of those, we're up there when he gets them, and they're yay big, teeny tiny, and then he's like, hey, we're butchering. I was like, really, already? And go up there, and it's like market weight, like 300-pound pigs. I was like, are you kidding me? That's the Idaho pasture pigs? They're huge. So that's the only person I know that has done them. And having seen the inside of them, their meat's very red. Like, it's very red and dark. Real pretty meat. I didn't get to eat any, but it's all good.
Did you try any meat? You didn't get to eat any? No. I'm just kind of curious. Yeah. So with that little bit of experience, it's kind of, like I was saying, 10 weeks, and they hit the good size, 250-ish pounds kind of thing.
When do you plan on getting those?
I don't know. I got to call into a breeder. I'm hoping the latest would be this spring, but if they have any on hand, as soon as we can get the barn done, I would get some.
Yeah. Whenever you can get them.
Whenever we can get them, but I'd like to have them by springtime for sure.
Hey, I would just like to butt in real quick and say, how the heck are you cranking out these buildings as fast as you're going? Like, I'll watch, an episode or two a week, and it's like, oh, I'm starting this project, and then like the next week, yeah, we're putting the roof on. It's like, what? You guys are getting it done.
We are. So with the workshop and then with the barn, we hired, so Ken's carpenter, he's a local guy, and he's got a YouTube channel, and it's his son, and then they have another worker, and we work really well together, so we're able to bust the stuff out. So we'll do me and Gina will do we'll do all the dirt work. We'll get everything prepped and ready for them, and then we'll have them come on concrete day. We pour the concrete with them, and then we'll do the framing. So like on the barn, we had them do the framing with us. We got everything framed up, set the trusses, did the roof. We got the roof on in 4 days. And then after that, they went to finish up their other jobs.
Man,
So,
we need a can of carpentry over here.
right.
Yeah.
We only planned on doing the workshop build this year. But then Ken was like, yeah, I'm slowing down, and I'm probably not going to be doing any more building next year because I plan on doing the barn in the spring. And I was like, oh, so that means we need to do 2 buildings this year because I enjoy working with them, and I know what we can do, So I'm like, oh, so I didn't plan on doing both the buildings this year. So this year it's kind of been like, man, how can I get this dialed in and get this figured out so we can get them both out? So we've been working a lot to get these 2 done.
That's good, man, that you can do that.
Yep.
That's cool.
It's one of those things, like when you can find good help, you got to try to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
What's even better is he has a YouTube channel.
I know. It worked out. But yeah, I would definitely say the pole barn, building on a concrete slab like the pole barn we've been doing it's pretty quick building, and it's pretty inexpensive compared to building other ways. I was pretty impressed once we sat down and crunched all the numbers. It's expensive compared to what things were a while ago, but it's not that expensive compared to other ways of building.
So how about you, Ben? What's going on?
My week last week was kind of short as far as projects go. I'm still skirting this mobile home. I'm almost done. Actually, if you see me tonight, just like scratching, I put all of the underlayment, the plastic moisture barrier underneath the mobile home today, and I am like ready to get in the shower. Every time I get under this thing, it's just there's fiberglass and stuff, and I'm just like itchy. So I got that done today, which I'm glad I don't really have to get back under there. And then I'm just gonna start buttoning up the project, trying to get the project done because this weekend we're having our second pig butchering workshop. So I've got to have everything pretty much buttoned up by it's this weekend. So if you're listening to this, I am probably elbow deep in a pig teaching a class. Just doing that. This weekend we elected to not film anything other than Thanksgiving, and we just took the week off. And I could have finished this project this weekend, and it was like, nah, it's not going to be that cold this weekend. I can work on it next week. And so during this weekend, this little time off, I got to get down in the barn and make some knives. I've been trying to crank out a couple knives because at this last class, I had a lot of guys, after we're done scraping, there's always some hairs that need to be shaved. And they watched me use the same knife, never sharpened it, never touched it on a stone or a hone or anything the entire first day. And they're watching me shave 2 pigs. And they're like, where can I get a knife like that? It's like, well, I make them. They're like, do you have any for sale? I was like, no, I don't. It's like that is like a great like marketing thing right there is look how sharp this is. Look how well it holds an edge. So I figured if anybody's, in attendance and they ask me again, it'll be like, yes, I do actually have a couple knives. So that's kind of my thinking. And, if I don't sell them, then Christmas is here. So yeah, that's pretty much the update for the week. I'm excited for this weekend. This weekend's going to warm up. I want to say it's like in the 50s, and then it's supposed to rain. Of course it is. I think it's only supposed to get down to like 44 on Friday night, but that's cold enough. We could probably hang a pig as long as it's not pouring rain. Sometimes
the rain though helps cool the meat off quicker. It seems like. So what do you use for steel on your knives that holds the edge so good? Do you have like a special steel you try to get, or?
It's just a spring steel called 1095. In the early days of learning how to make knives, I did the whole mystery steel stuff. It's like, car springs are supposed to be good steel, and you never know what it is. There's no data sheet that comes with a random junkyard find. And so there's a certain like process you have to go through when you're heat treating a knife. And if you don't know what kind of steel it is, you might do the wrong thing and wind up with either a unhardened blade or a blade that's like a piece of glass. You just don't know. So I started buying known steel and using 1095. It's really easy to work with. It's almost like a dummy proof steel once you learn how to work with it. And so I've got a couple knives that I made them as hard as I possibly could, and they're up in like the 60 Rockwell range, if you know what the Rockwell scale is. 60 Rockwell is pretty stinking hard, and these knives will wear out diamond stones with a quickness. It's pain in the butt to get the knife sharp, but once it's sharp, it stays sharp for a very long time.
Gotcha.
If you're trying to cut through bone with a knife, there's not really any knife that's going to hold up to that. But as long as you're careful and you're not hitting bone or sawing on the table with it, like this past weekend, I sharpened the knives before day one, and then at the end of day one, I just touched them up, and by the end of the weekend, they were still sharp. Like I didn't have to stop and sharpen knives in the middle of the class. And I only used one knife for the entire class. So I'm pretty happy with the performance of these knives. It's kind of cool that I made them too.
So you going to go over, Jason, and eat the food on Saturday? That's what I want to know.
I know. I'm just here for the food and free coffee.
Right.
There'll be coffee on tap again if you want to make a cameo.
So yeah, this week, Thanksgiving, we just I try not to do too much. It's like one of those things like, man, what did I do this week? I was like, man, I don't know if I did anything this week. I felt like I didn't do anything. But I was like, well, I put out 2 videos, edited 2 videos in the podcast. And so I guess I did something. But
did you have to edit the podcast on Thanksgiving?
What's that?
Did you have to edit the podcast on Thanksgiving?
No, I did it the day before. I wanted it. Yeah, usually I'll do it like the day before.
Yep.
I'll do it on Thursday, but this time I was like, what? I don't want to do anything on Thursday, so I did it on Wednesday, and it was done by Wednesday. So, which is fine. It worked out. But I put up Christmas lights. Do you guys put up Christmas lights in your house?
No.
Not anymore. I used to be all about that life.
I know. Us too. But then the last couple of years, even like when we were on our mobile home, I don't think we ever put Christmas lights on the mobile home. But then ever since we got like a real house, we're like, hey, let's put Christmas lights up. Like in California, we used to be all about it because everyone else is. It's in the suburbs, and I'd be the one decorating Grandma's house every year. I don't know. We started it back up again. Nothing too crazy, but I put some lights up.
Do you guys cut your own trees, like in your yards, and get like a Charlie Brown Christmas tree, or that's what we do?
I want to do that, but Lorraine's like, "Wow, we need a big tree."
No, ever since we moved back up here, we made it a tradition. I started it off like we came back up. I don't think we were living here yet. And we cut down a tree and put it at Gina's parents' house. And it was the ugliest Charlie Brown tree. I took some 2x4s and made an X on the bottom. We stuck it in her parents' house. They were both working. And then they came home and they're like, this is pretty cool. And they used it for that Christmas. So ever since then, it's kind of been our tradition. And that's what we do at our house. We just do an ugly Charlie Brown Christmas tree cut from the yard somewhere.
Yeah, part of me wants to like go plant. Like I would love to plant some like legit Christmas trees out here somewhere.
You just need ugly Christmas trees. Like it's got to become the new thing.
Yeah,
there's more meaning behind it.
I know. You have to tell me. Tell the women I live with.
Tell them it's a heritage tree, just like a heritage turkey, or
it's organic.
It's organic. If you get one of those big store-bought ones, it's kind of like buying a broad-breasted turkey or a broiler. That's like the same equivalent to the Christmas tree world.
Yes.
You got to get those free range trees.
I know. I have one beanie left. So I sold out beanies, almost one left as we speak. So I was shipping those out, I guess, a few days before Thanksgiving, which is pretty cool. On my mini truck, the front bumper on the mini truck, it's like, it's a 90s truck. So, that black part, the plastic, it gets all faded. So I flamed it. Have you ever flamed it and it
Yeah, I've seen that.
turns it like brand new again? It's like just a handheld flamer thing, and you just like kind of go like that, and it's amazing. It just like it just turns it dark black again. It's almost like it heats it up a little bit, the plastic, and then it turns it black.
So you gotta go fast so you don't burn it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you gotta be careful, but
I've done that with all sorts of like outdoor plastic stuff. Once it gets all crusty and the UV damage, you just take the blowtorch to it, and it just real quick, you just kiss it with that torch, and it just like it melts and then hardens again, and it looks like brand new plastic. It's crazy.
I didn't have to take off the bumper. I didn't take off the bumper. I was like, man, I don't want to take this off. And then so I just like kind of did it. I was like, oh, it works. Company sent me a front bumper for the mini truck, and then a winch so I could put a winch in the front.
That'd be cool.
It might be a little bit overkill, the bumper. When you guys see the bumper, it's going to be like, wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it needs that big bumper, but
is it made for it?
Yeah, it's made for it's like an aftermarket. Like this other companies started making these bumpers for the mini trucks. So I'm like, I'm going to put that winch on, and the truck's going to go boop. It's going to go for it's going to be too heavy for it.
It's going to tip over. Going to have to add a leaf in the suspension.
Well, I think it would be cool if I put that on, or when I put that on, if I could see if I can lift up a pig with it or something.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Can you use that to hoist up your pigs and stuff through the barn?
Yeah.
Hold up.
I want to try it. See if it'll do it. It might lift up the truck, but
imagine having a pig so heavy that it lifts the truck up.
I know.
Right.
I don't know how. I mean, I think the truck maybe weighs 1,500 pounds. Does that sound right?
I don't know how much they weigh.
Or if I get a deer, maybe I could hoist it up with that.
How long does your season go till for deer hunting?
Isn't it like January 2nd?
Yeah, it's like a while. It's the beginning of the year. I believe this weekend is the end of any sex, and basically it's like buck only from then on out. So if you're wanting to get does, get them now.
Which I'm hoping I could go out. You know what I noticed too, guys, man? Like we butchered them 2 steers a year ago, and we are really low on beef.
Really?
I went in there yesterday in the cooler. I was like, "Where's all the beef?" I was like, I guess we've been going through it because, like, we have a lot of room in there, in the chest. They're in a chest freezer, and I was like, I mean, there's still. Lorraine seems to think we probably have maybe 3 months left of beef.
Wow.
Yep.
So I'm like, man,
better get your fence built. Get some more cattle coming.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I mean, we have plenty of pork still, but I guess it's the beef we like.
You're gonna have to get you a couple
thinking,
deer.
like, man, I should go and. I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I got to go out there, and now that I have the room, I think last year I was like, I don't have the room for any deer, but I guess we've been eating everything. So
I think that's what happens when you live this lifestyle. You eat a lot of meals at home, so you go through the meat and all the food a lot quicker because you're not going out to dinner or out to eat. You work from home. You're at home all the time, so you're cooking.
All right, so let's talk about some gifts. I wrote down a list. Did you guys write down a list? A Christmas list?
Christmas list.
I'm terrible at Christmas.
Yeah, so every year we're like, what should we get each other? I'm like, man, every year we say, well, I don't need anything. Lorraine's like, I don't need it. I mean, whatever we want throughout the year, we'll just get it, really. So it's so hard to get each other gifts. But I thought this would be a fun topic. Maybe give some other people some ideas on what to get their favorite homesteader. So what you guys got?
Well, you go first. You got the list.
I got the list.
We're just going to bounce up your ideas.
I got like 10 things, and we can bounce off of that. Okay. This is not an order, but here's one. Zip ties.
That's a good one.
You could get 1,000 bag of zip ties at Lowe's for like $29.
Zip ties and duct tape.
Yes. That's a good stocking stuffer.
A good knife, whether it be a pocket knife or a Leatherman or kitchen knife or butchering. And I mean, there's so many different knives you can use for, seems like every job on the homestead calls for a different knife, like whether you're chicken butchering or you're butchering a pig. And
Yep, I have that on here. Leatherman, like I have a Victorinox. I like the Victorinox knives.
Yep.
6-inch boning knife.
Is that the curved one? It's got a little swoop to it. Yep.
Those ones you can do chickens and whatever.
Do you guys use the candlestick scrapers when you're doing your hogs? What do you guys use for scraping the hair?
I guess, candlestick scraper. I've never heard it called that.
Must be a New England thing.
I know. I was like, what?
Kind of looks like a candlestick, don't it?
Yeah.
Like an old candlestick holder, except it doesn't have a candlestick holder.
Yeah.
They used to sell them on eBay. You could get new ones that work pretty slick. I don't know if they still can get them.
The ones I got on eBay.
I found some on Amazon.
Oh, I got new ones. I found them on eBay brand new. They were just kind of like a big, giant fender washer that kind of they pressed them. They worked. I didn't think they were going to work that great, but they worked really well.
So I got some ratchet straps. You can always use ratchet straps.
Yep.
Those are a must.
What kind of ratchet straps? There's like so many different ones.
The ones that
self-rewind.
Rewind.
I like those, but I picked up a brand. I think it's called Rhino. They're American. I'm pretty sure they're American made, and they don't auto rewind, or maybe they make some auto rewind. But the ones I got, they have little like latches on them, so you can like clip them on the bed hook, and they stay there. Because what I hate is when you're doing it by yourself, you go all the way around, then you get to the other end, put the other side on, you start ratcheting it down, and the hook fell off.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen
it's like
those.
A carabiner or something.
Yeah, well, it's a little hook, but then it's got a little spring-loaded lasp on it that holds it in place. It's like, that's pretty slick.
Yeah, those are pretty slick.
Something simple like that, like
right?
It's genius. Have you ever heard of the Perfect Bungee? It's a brand. I love those bungees. If you look them up, the Perfect Bungee. I think they have them on Amazon, but I don't think I've ever seen them at Lowe's, but Home Depot. I was buying them at Home Depot. You know those old school rubber bungees that are black?
Yep.
Like trucker bungees.
You can never stretch it. Like they're just super hard to stretch.
Right.
They look like that, but except you could stretch it.
I actually used yours when I farm sat for you, and I liked them so much, I went home and I ordered some Perfect bungees. Like they are the perfect bungee. They're so stretchy. They don't hurt your skin when you stretch them like those rubber ones would. They're great bungees. Like I really like those bungees. And I've noticed when it's really, really cold, they still stretch.
That's it. Yes. I feel left out. I gotta get a pair.
You have to. I know.
I'm excited
about bungees. A bucket.
You always need a bucket.
Can always use a bucket. Put some stuff in there. Put some bungees in there. Put some zip ties in there, and wrap it. Boom. Automatic gift.
If I had that under the tree Christmas morning, like a bucket with zip ties and bungees in it, I would actually that would be an awesome gift.
Water hose. You can always use a water hose.
Do you guys have like a brand you like? Have you found like the perfect water hose yet? Because I haven't.
Not really.
I thought I'd found it with those 0G hoses. Like I really like those hoses. They're super light. They're flexible. They don't hardly kink. But man, don't run them over. Don't run them over, especially when they're pressurized. You'll pop them like a water balloon.
Yeah, I tried we have one, and exactly. They work good for some things, but
I try to stick with rubber, like just rubber hose.
Yep.
Like a regular rubber hose, but they don't last. Yeah, they just don't last. I mean,
seems like every year we go through at least one or two hoses. They just deteriorate and fall apart, or you run them over and they get holes in them or something.
They need to start sponsoring some of us.
Become a hose dealer.
Come on,
hey, man,
hose people.
you want a hose?
Hose company. Where are the hose companies at?
Where's that?
Where the hose at?
We need to make our Where all the hose at? I found a new one while I was doing fencing. The is it Knipex bolt cutters?
Knipex.
Knipex.
Yeah, supposedly you pronounce the K.
Yeah, they're like little compact bolt cutters, and they look like pliers, but they're really good. Like just that high tensile stuff. I'm just going to town and just cutting everything. They're kind of expensive, like $50, I think. What else? Headlamp.
You got to have a good headlamp. I think we've actually talked about that one.
What kind of head
before?
Any kind of headlamp would be fine. Like I think I have a Phoenix headlamp.
Yeah, mine's a Olight.
I bought a
really like
Milwaukee
Olight.
I would say any kind of stuff that you're gonna go through throughout the year if you're building stuff, whether it be a box of screws or like a thing of drill bits, anything like that, I think would be a good gift.
We try to keep a lookout this time of the year for the bigger. I don't know if you'd call them appliances, or like one year we got our KitchenAid on a Black Friday deal. Like, I don't know, it was like 80% off. It was a ridiculous deal, and we've had that for probably 5 or 6 years now. And then just kind of like try to keep an eye on like stuff like that, like meat grind. Yeah, I mean it was crazy. It was. I don't know why they had them like that. My brother was up. It was around, it was Thanksgiving. My brother was up and he's like, I don't need one, but for the price that it is, he's like, I can't afford not to. I think it was like $120 for the commercial one. I don't know why they were selling them so cheap, but so we just try to keep like an eye for stuff like that, because it seems like every once in a while some companies will run good deals, and it's like that'll be like the family Christmas present for everybody kind of thing.
Getting a family gift is fun.
I'd say books. Books are fun Christmas presents to get this time of the year.
This year, it said me and Lorraine were having a hard time figuring out what to get each other, and we're like, usually we're just like, let's not get each other anything. But this year we decided there is a 100-year-old general store close to us. Let's go to that general store, separate times, and we get to pick something out from that general store for each other. So I haven't done it. I haven't went there yet, but so that's our I guess it's kind of like a challenge probably.
Is there a limit, or is it just kind of?
No, just whatever. I guess just whatever. We'll just go to this general store. Whatever they have in there, we're going to pick something out. Like I'm going to pick something out for I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I know where you're talking about. There's some cool stuff in that store.
Yeah, Ben knows.
Ben knows.
I love that store.
Yeah. It's a general store. It's kind of general store that you go in there and they'll make you a bologna sandwich.
Are they busy? Like, is it a place that'll stay open?
There's always people
in
there
for 100 years.
Awesome. The area where I'm at, I used to come up here in high school, and there was a bunch of old, I'd call them like country stores style stores, and they're gone now. And a lot of them they just tore down because they couldn't get anybody to buy them, and they're like, well, we don't want to pay the taxes anymore on the property, so they just bulldozed them down. It's like, oh,
what a shame.
I just remember when I was in high school, like we drive the 4-wheelers to them, we drive the snow machines to them, and you'd stop and you'd get your pizza, or you'd see all the different stuff they'd have in there for sale, and now they're not there. It's like, man.
Yeah.
I hope this place stays open for the next 100 years too.
Right. You guys will have to buy it if it ever goes for sale. And
I know. Oh, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that moment. I'm showing my face in there every once in a while. Hey, what's up, guys?
Right.
I'm your neighbor. Trying to butter them up.
Right. So they make sandwiches there and sell them? Like what's in this general store? Do they have like coffee and baked goods?
They do have complimentary coffee.
Complimentary coffee?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a little coffee pot. You go in there and just fill yourself up with the cup.
You can buy your nails by the pound.
Yeah, they have just little stuff. They have like a plumbing section, and they have some lodge stuff, cooking stuff.
Sounds like a Homesteader store.
It really is.
Yeah, that's cool.
So they do the deer weigh-in stations. Like, you guys gotta bring your deers to get checked in and stuff.
Mm.
No, North Carolina doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, up here you have to. You got to bring them to the different stores. Do it, but you got to bring your deers and get them weighed and checked in.
Really?
Yeah, California, you had to take your deer and get it,
Even if you get one
inspected, get your tag verified.
The whole deer, right after you shoot it, you gotta
tag it.
wait.
And then
you gotta bring it somewhere.
Yeah, you got to bring it in, get it checked in. It's usually different stores. It's not like it's not at like a fish and game department or anything. It's like different stores will do it. You bring it in there, you report it, and they write it in the book and stuff like that. They
So
weigh.
you got to do that even if you do it on your property.
Yep, even if you do it on your property, if you have enough land, you can hunt on your property without a license. And then when you go to check it in, you got to have a handwritten tag that says like landowner tag. And then you got to go in, you got to weigh it, check it in, all that stuff.
See, maybe it's just the libertarian in me. It's like, if I shoot it on my land, nobody's going to know about it.
Right.
It's like, I do have the technology and the skills. I can make that thing disappear.
Right. A lot of people nowadays, though, can't. They wouldn't know what to do, even if they shot it themselves.
You take it to a deer processor.
Yep. I think that's kind of cool. You guys don't have to go anywhere and check them in. You can just shoot them and bring them wherever. You got to fill in a tag and record it anywhere online? Or?
Yeah, you do it right from your phone. You check it in on your phone. You don't have to take any pictures or anything. You just log into your hunting license, push the button for report a harvest, and you get a confirmation email that says, congratulations. Then you're done. The first deer I got out here, and that was literally the reporting process. I was like, you got to be kidding me. I don't have to take it and find a ranger or a sheriff or like, it's just, we're done. It's mine now. I can take it. This is cool. I knew we moved to the right place. So back to the gift giving real quick. All throughout the year, we have the same problem. Me and Meg just buy whatever we want, whenever we want, within reason. And so this summer, I was getting to the point where I was carrying pliers with me everywhere. And it was like, this is stupid. I need a Leatherman. And so I bought a Leatherman. I haven't carried a Leatherman since I was like 20. I used to be all about a Leatherman. I had a Leatherman, and somehow I was doing something and I had it sitting on my truck, and I ran it over, like it fell off my truck when I was backing the truck up, and I ran it over and broke it. And I hadn't carried one since. So, I mean, that's that's 17 years I haven't carried a Leatherman. And so this summer I bought one. Holy Moses. Like I have used this Leatherman so much. I forgot how nice it was to have scissors and pliers and a saw. I mean, there's no end to the amount of things that I can use this Leatherman for. Having a screwdriver on you. I mean, you don't know how many times that screwdriver saved me a trip up to the house or to the barn. But yeah, if you're wanting to get the homesteader in your life something, if you don't already have a Leatherman or a good multi-tool, think about it. That is a very useful gift.
Which one did you get? Did you get the regular? I was just on looking at Leathermans today or yesterday, and I couldn't believe all the different Leathermans they have nowadays.
So many.
So I got this one's called the Free, and it's like supposedly it's supposed to be the one-handed tool. That's why I got it. It's got a really nice, like snappy mechanism. Yeah, for all the people listening, all they hear is a bunch of clicking and weird noises. But it's like it spins free. It actually reminds me, if you've ever held a butterfly knife, that's what it reminds me of. It's like you have this weird heavy Leatherman butterfly knife thing. But yeah, that's the Leatherman Free. It is not free in the price. I would say it's one of the more expensive ones, but if I break this thing or lose it, like you better believe I'm going to replace it because it is invaluable.
I was looking at the Wave.
I got the Wingman.
The Wingman.
This one, I had the Wave Plus.
Yep.
And that thing is like a brick.
Is it?
It's kind of like too cumbersome. Plus, see how this is springy?
Yeah, I like that. I like that spring loaded.
This is the reason why I bought this one. So the other one, you have to like pry it open with 2 hands and then use it and then pry it open again
Yep.
and then use it. This one, it's just a spring. Is yours a spring, Ben?
No, it's not, but like the movement is really, really smooth.
Okay.
So you don't really need a spring because it's so smooth. And then,
I see.
the mechanism, once it unlocks, it's got magnets that hold it together. And so once you open it, it just, yeah, I don't know. I really like this one. Surprisingly enough, the blades have stayed really, really sharp. My last Leatherman I had, that was back before they had like names, wingmen or anything like that. That's how long ago this Leatherman I had was. That was the main thing I remembered about it was you better not need a sharp knife because that knife is not going to hold an edge. But with this one, I've used this thing for all sorts of stuff and it's still sharp. So they've definitely improved in almost 20 years.
Now I'm even more confused. I don't know which one to get. Too many options
every year.
I go on the website.
Every year you're gonna get a new Leatherman every year.
Right.
I guess they used to have one that they marketed as a one-handed tool, and that was what I was looking for. And I actually, a friend I have, he actually has one. He bought it right before they quit making them, and it is legitimately. I've never seen a Leatherman one-handed tool. You hold it by the handle, you like push a button, and then sling it, and the pliers pop out the end, and then when you open your hand, they open. Like it's truly a one-handed set of pliers. I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I don't know why they quit making them. Maybe it was, too fidgety to machine something like that. But maybe if you want to eBay some, you could find one of those. I've thought about it. That'd be kind of cool to have a set of the one-handed Leathermans.
So I guess that's it. It's all the Christmas gifts.
I wish I was a little more
I can't think of what else.
Like good with this subject, but I suck at Christmas. I always have. I've never been good at gift giving.
Homemade gifts are always good to give, but then it's like, what do I make? Like, I've already made you this. It's like, what else?
We did for this year we did Gina found a package for cross-country skis. So hopefully we get some snow so we can go cross-country skiing. But we got some for everybody. It was kind of impressive, like what she could. I don't know if we don't cross-country ski, so we don't look at skis, so we don't know if these are like 10-year-old skis that somebody put into a package and you got a great deal on, or or what. But as long as they get us around the yard, we'll be happy. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
So
you could do that on your property.
Yep, that's
nice.
We got a groomer that I pull behind the side-by-side. So we'll try to we'll groom our own trails, but we got the groomer, which is nice. Like if we're making like paths to go to the animals, that's kind of nice. We get a lot of deep snow. You can have the paths to go to the animals, and the animals, like the chickens, we let our chickens free range a lot of the times in the winter. They like to walk on the groomed trails versus the not groomed trails. But
tell me, Al, I always had this question. So when we were out in California, I could pretty much run out my front door every day of the year and go for a run, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do people do when it's like, 0 degrees out and there's snow? Basically in the winter, like what do you can't go work out outside, right?
Well,
or do you?
You can go cross country skiing, you can go downhill skiing, you can go snowshoeing. A lot of people they'll go ice climbing. There's just different outdoor stuff, which is, I guess, is the fun thing. So it's always a changing season, so it's something different to do.
Because I always thought you guys like had a gym membership somewhere and you guys go in a gym, but
no.
I guess not. I mean, I still think about that out here, like, and it's not terribly cold out here, not like you guys, but I was like, man, what do people do to work out in the winter if they wanted to work out without having to, buy equipment or not? Are they out there in the snow running?
I think all just depends on what you like doing. I think a lot of people probably nowadays all do it inside.
Because we talked about getting a treadmill, really just for the winter, I guess. Because sometimes, man, when it's winter, you're like, man, I feel like going running, but I'm not gonna go out there.
Do you still run?
No, not as much as I
As you.
was. Not at all. No. But sometimes, I mean, usually in the fall, for, when it dies down, like fall, winter, I feel like running. But
Something
at the
about the
same
weather.
time, it's like, man, I don't know if I want to go out there. Yeah.
Always
So that's why
hated,
I'm thinking like a treadmill.
always hated running. I don't know why, but I've never understood why people like running.
Yeah, I loved running.
So is it big out in California then? Since you get good weather all the time?
Yeah, I would say so. Hiking, outdoor stuff, like
I mean, that's pretty much the capital for
January, you're out there.
outdoor stuff. Southern California, it's either hot or sort of hot. This weather we've been having lately, like it's been kind of cold, and like I think yesterday it was cloudy all day and only got up to like 45 for the high, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is like the dead of winter temperatures back in California where we're at. Like that was the peak of winter right there. You might get a light frost and everybody's worried about their citrus plants. It's like, we haven't even got started. We're going to have upper teens this week. It's like, oh, here we go.
Is that early for you guys getting this cold? Like
Not
the
really.
teens
Not what I've. Usually we have a cold snap in November. Usually towards the middle of November. So we're actually about 2 weeks late. Every year since we've been here, usually around like the 15th of November is when we see like, 17, something like that. And then it'll warm back up and we won't see cold temperatures until January. Not like that. So we'll see. We'll see if it's the same as it's been every year.
So that's an hour, guys. I think time's up.
All right.
So I appreciate everyone listening and watching. Thank you so much for watching us on YouTube and listening to these podcasts. If you can, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, a thumbs up, and share with your friends. And we'll talk to you guys, or I guess we'll see you guys next week. I hope everyone has an awesome week and does some good Christmas shopping. All right. We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Watching.
See you guys.